Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of your IGCSE Tutors. Without further ado, let's start to discuss this Cambridge IGCSE Economics Paper 1. First question, how can an economic problem be described? So the basic economic problem is caused by unlimited wants and limited resources, as insufficient resources to satisfy our unlimited wants. This is the correct answer. So first question is C. Question 2. What would be included in the factor of production, land? So there are in total 4 factors of production: CELL, capital, enterprise, labor, and land. So land is about all the natural resources. For example, wood, water, forests, etc. And labor is the workers, and enterprise are the ideas that put the 3 other factors of production together. And capital is the physical assets used to produce goods, such as machinery, equipment, building, etc. Okay, so let's find the answer. First one, bread. No, this is a goods. It's like the final product you produce. And factory building and sports arena. This is a bit confusing. You may think that it is a land, but it is actually under the category of capital, because we use the factory and we use the sports arena to produce goods and to provide services. And wheat is the raw material to make bread, so this is under land. Okay, so the answer is D. Moving on. A deposit of shale oil is discovered in an area of farming. The following estimates are made for a 10-year period. If the land used for farming, it would yield income after tax of 10 billion. If the land is used for shale oil extraction, it would yield income after tax of $40 billion. The government would receive $5 billion in taxes from farming and a 10 billion in taxes from shale oil extraction. What is the opportunity cost using the land only for farming? If we choose to use the land for farming only, you will have 10 billion yield income after tax, and government will receive 5 billion for tax. Then what is the opportunity cost? So first, for yield income after tax, use this 40 billion minus out the 10 billion. So you get a 30 billion opportunity cost for the income. Second, for government tax, you use this 10 billion to minus the 5 billion. So you get 5 billion in total. So this is the opportunity cost. At last, add up both the answers, which is this one and this one. So you get an opportunity cost of $35 billion. This means that if you choose to use the land for farming instead of extracting oil, you will sacrifice $35 billion. So the answer is C. Okay, let's move on. Question 4. What 3 key questions determine resource allocation? So it's definitely what, how, and for whom to produce. This one you need to remember. Alright, let's move on. In the diagram, X represents the original equilibrium point in the labor market for engineers. An increase in the skills of engineers results in an increase in productivity. Which point represents the new equilibrium in the labor market for engineers? So there is an increase in productivity, means there's an increase in output. So the demand for labor will increase. Therefore, this shifts the demand curve to the right. So this is the original point. You will shift to the right. Alright, so we draw a line to see where is the new equilibrium. Okay, so we know that. Okay, it's B. This is the new equilibrium. So why there's an increase in demand for labor? Because now the workers, which is the engineers, they become more productive. So the firms are more willing to hire more engineers to work for them. So this caused the demand for labor to increase from D1 to D3. So B is the answer. Moving on. An explosion in an important oil pipeline causes the world price of a barrel of oil to increase from $50 to $100. Before the explosion, the world demand for oil was 100 million barrels per day. The world price elasticity of demand for oil is negative 0.2. What is the new global demand for oil as a result of the explosion? So first, you need to know the PED formula, which is this. PED equals to percentage changes in quantity demanded divided by percentage changes in the price. And you use new minus old divided by old value. So let's work it out. The PED we know is 0.2 from here. And now we need to find the new global demand for oil, which is the new. So we new demand, so we put D2. And the old demand is 100 million, so we just put 100. Okay, divided by 100. And I use the new price minus old price divided by the new price. So here, this one is equals to 1. 1 times negative 0.2 is 0.2. So we just find what is D2. We get 80, which is 80 million. Okay, so this is the answer for the new demand for oil. Okay. Question 7. What is included in the study of microeconomics? So microeconomics is the study of a particular market. First one, demand pull inflation. No, this macro. This economies of scale, yes. Increasing unemployment, no. The size of budget deficit, no. Because this economies of scale applied to firms. So this is a study of particular market. So the answer is B. Okay, let's move on. Price elasticity of supply PES of a product is 1. The price of a product is 10. And the quantity supplied is 200 units. If the price of a product increases to 11, by how many units will the quantity supplied increase? So again, we need to know the formula for PES. So PES equals to percentage changes in quantity supplied divided by percentage changes in price. So PES is 1. And now we need to find the quantity supplied increase. So it's the new one. So we represent it as S1 minus the old one. And new price minus old price divided by the old price. S1, we got 220 units. However, this is not the answer. Question is asking how many increase in units. So you need to take this 220 minus 200, which is the original or the old quantity supplied here. So you got 20 units. This is the answer. Question 9. The government wishes to reduce the harmful emissions from road transport. Which measure would be effective in helping to achieve this aim? So A. Increase expenditure on oil exploration. No. Introducing a subsidy on public transport. Yes. C. Reduce taxation on production of private vehicles. No. You should increase. Reducing incentive to purchase electric vehicles. No. You should increase incentives. And for A, you should reduce expenditure on oil exploration. So why is B the answer? Because when you introduce subsidy, you can create an incentive for people to use public transport because it is now more economical. So B is the answer. Question 10. What function does a central bank provide for an economy? A. It issues bank notes to encourage spending. Yes, issue bank notes is correct. It manages the debt of private sector firms. No, it manages the debt of public sector, which is the government's debt. It offers a high interest rate accounts to encourage savings. No. It provides mortgages to encourage home ownership. No. These two are referring to commercial bank. So we know that A is the answer. Question 11. A firm changes from producing individual pieces of wooden furniture by hand to a mechanized production process using the division of labor. What is the most likely set of outcomes as a result? So first outcome, worker motivation. So for the first outcome, we know that machines replace the labor. So now worker motivation will decrease. So this is correct. Second one, average total cost. Total cost divided by output. As machines, they can produce more in the same amount of time than labor. The output increases. When output increases, the average total cost will decrease. Total cost is equals to fixed cost plus variable cost. Now output increases already, so we know that variable cost will also increases because variable cost is the cost that will changes according to the output you produce. So now total cost also increases. So C is the answer. Moving on. 12. What is the best definition of trade union? Yes, a group of workers, this one is correct, that negotiates collectively on pay. This is correct. This one is wrong. 13. What is most likely to be a disadvantage when operating a small firm? Okay. A lack of external economies of scale. Not really. A lack of external economies of scale. No. A lack of internal economies of scale. This is correct. Why? Because small firms, they produce in a small scale. So they cannot purchase in bulk. So they have higher average costs. So C is the answer. 14. A firm increase output from Q1 to Q2 and achieve economies of scale. How is this shown on a firm's average total cost curve? When you reduce the cost from C1 to C2, quantity increases from Q1 to Q2. This is correct. This is achieving the economies of scale because now the firm, they produces at a larger scale so they can purchase the raw materials in large amounts, which reduces the average total cost. However, if you increase the output from more than Q2, let's say here, the cost will increase, as you can see, from here to here. This causes these economies of scale. So why is it so? It can be due to the communication problems in a firm. For example, as the firm hires more workers, the production process and communication will get complicated and productivity will decrease. So this increases the average total cost. So we know that although the last part I explained is an extra thing for you, but you need to know that the first part is actually correct. So A is the correct answer. 15. A busy restaurant employs a large number of highly skilled chefs to individually prepare high-quality meals. What is an advantage to this restaurant of this type of production? A highly skilled chef is paid more than an unskilled cook. No. This is a disadvantage. It is easier to prepare a wide variety of meals. Yes. It takes time to train a highly skilled chef. This is also a disadvantage. The quality of a meal varies according to which chef prepares it. Also a disadvantage. 16. How is the average cost of a product calculated? Yeah, this one you just need to know the formula. Average total cost is equals to total cost divided by the output. This one is correct. 17. Why might measures to reduce unemployment also make inflation rise? When the government plans to reduce unemployment through increasing government spending on workers' training, the labor productivity increases, so more people get jobs. However, as employment increases, workers have more income to spend. This leads to higher demand for goods and services, causing demand pull inflation. So we know that this B is the correct answer. Moving on. 18. Diagram shows selected areas of government spending for a country. What was the total government spending on merit goods? So we need to identify what is merit goods. So first, education and healthcare. Okay, so we plus together, it is 118.2 billion. This is the answer, C. So why, you may be asking, why national defense and unemployment, they are not merit goods? I thought they are also good for the country. So first, we need to know the definition for merit goods first. So merit goods, they have positive spillover effects to the economy when consumed, and they are often under-consumed or underproduced. So national defense is actually a public good. And public good, there are no under-consumption because everyone receives the same protection. For example, everyone is protected by the national defense. And for unemployment benefits, it is a transfer payment. So a transfer payment is usually given by government to provide the financial support to the people in need, in this case to the unemployed people. So they are not merit goods. Okay, moving on. 19. What correctly explains the effect of monetary policy measures on macroeconomic aims? A higher exchange rate will make imports more expensive. No, it will make the imports less expensive and make the exports more expensive. So this is not the correct answer. B, an increase in interest rates will encourage investment and lead to higher economic growth. No, it should be a decrease in interest rates. Okay. C, an increase in the money supply in an economy without spare capacity will result in demand pull inflation. Yes, it is correct. Okay, I will explain it later. D, higher interest rates result in less income from savings and therefore higher unemployment. No, higher interest rates will result in higher income from saving. Okay, so why is C the answer? It's because when the money supply increases, consumers and firms now they have more money to spend and invest. This leads to a rise in total demand in the economy. However, in an economy where all the resources like labor, capital, etc. are fully utilized, it becomes difficult to increase the production to meet this higher demand. So, as a result, this created demand pull inflation. So this is the overall concept. Alright, so C is the answer. Question 20. What is the most likely impact of lower direct taxes on demand and on supply? So let's see what's the effect on demand first. When you reduce direct tax, you increase disposable income. Disposable income is the income you get after you deduct all the taxes. This causes you have more money for spending right now. When you have more money, you tend to spend more and this increases the demand. So on the first part, you look at the consumer's point of view. For the supplies, you look at the producer point of view. So now, you'll reduce the production cost. This creates an incentive for firms to produce more goods. So, as a result, this increases the supply. So, I know that the answer is C. Question 21. The table shows the annual change in GDP before adjustments for inflation have been made, and the annual rate of inflation in 4 countries. Which country has the highest rate of growth in real GDP? So take note of real GDP. It needs to be adjusted after inflation. So you can use the change in GDP percentage minus the inflation rate. You can get the real change in GDP. So we see that B has the highest rate of growth. Moving on. Which type of unemployment is generally regarded by economists as the least serious for the economy? So first, cyclical. It is caused by the decrease in total demand of economy. Frictional occurs when changing between jobs. And yes, this is the least serious because it always occurs in a labor force, no matter in what kind of situation. And regional occurs when certain areas demand decreases. And lastly, structural happens when the demand of products for a particular industry decreases. Moving on, the CPI for a country rose during 1 year from 125 to 150. What was the country's rate of inflation? You use the new CPI minus the old CPI divided by the old CPI. So you would get 20%. So we know that the rate of inflation is 20%, A. Okay, moving on. What does the HDI indicates? It indicates the living standards, so it's correct. Do you still remember what 3 components HDI made up of? First one, life expectancy. Second, income per person. Third, year of schooling. What best describes relative poverty? So relative poverty, the definition is having a lower standard of living compared to the rest of the society. Alright, so C is the most similar one. A person has a lower living standard than the minimum level acceptable in a society. So this one, yes. A 12-year-old boy has never been able to access a doctor or school, so this absolute poverty. A person earns less than minimum defined level of income, also absolute poverty. A person is unable to afford the basic necessities of life. Yes, this is absolute poverty. 26. The table shows population statistics for 3 countries in a particular year. What can be concluded from the table? First one, we need to calculate the population growth per year. Okay, so we use 10 minus 8, this one, so we get this. When we get this, we convert it into, because this unit is under 1,000, for example, we use country Z, we need to convert it to the million, which fit this unit. And for this net migration, we know that the formula is immigrant minus emigrant. Immigrant is the people moving in and emigrant is people moving out. And we see that country Z is negative. So this means that more people is actually moving out from country Z. Okay, so let's check the answer. Country X has fewer females than country Z. At country Y, no, we don't know that. Country Y has the smallest population increase. No. X and Y has similar population increase. Country Y has the highest living standards, we don't know. Country Z has a decreasing population, yes. Because we see that a lot of people are moving out from country Z. D is the answer. Question 27. What is most likely to promote international specialization? Similarities in climate, similarities in availability of natural resources in different countries, instability in foreign exchange rates. No. These three are not. So A and B, a simple explanation to it is that if you have similar resources, why would you trade with other countries? So you will not, you will just use your country's own resources that are more available and cheaper. C is not correct, so D is answer, the abolition of tariffs and custom duties. So when there's less barrier, you can reduce the cost, and this will create an incentive for firms to specialize, to increase their productivity and export more of their products to other countries. So D is the answer. 28. What are the effects on price and equilibrium quantity of the imposition of an import tariff on a good? So when we impose an import tariff, this will shift the supply curve to the left as supply reduces. So let's draw a curve. So we see that this will cause the price to increase while decreasing the equilibrium quantity. So C is the answer. Question 29. The diagram shows the market for the Indian rupee in US dollar. What will cause the demand curve for rupees to shift from D1 to D2? D1 to D2 is an increase of demand. So before looking at the answer, let's think about the reasons that will cause demand to increase for rupee. There are the 4 reasons. So first one is caused by an increase in export demand. As consumers from other countries, they want to buy products, goods from India, so they need to buy rupees to buy their products. So this will increase the demand for rupee. So, and second reason is due to the increase in interest rates of India. Third one is increase of FDI, increase of foreign direct investment. And the fourth reason is speculation of rupee currency will increase in the short run. So let's see which answer applies to the reasons. So A, a fall in Indian exports, no. Should be increase. Fall in US inflation rate, not relevant. A rise in foreign direct investment into India, yes. A rise in interest rate in the US, no. So C is the answer. Question 30. The diagram shows China's trade with Brazil for 2 years. What happened to China's trade balance with Brazil between year 1 and year 2? So let's see year 1, which is this lighter color. We can see the export is more than the import. Year 2, the export is less than the import. So this equation, this is more, so it is the plus, and this is less, so it is a deficit. Let's see the answer. Yeah, it moved from surplus to deficit. So D is the answer. So here's the end of our episode. Hope this video helps you to tackle all these exam questions. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I will see you in the next video.